began with a whisper, not in my ear, but in my bones. A cold, crawling sensation beneath the skin, like an echo that didn't belong to this world. For the past month, I've been experiencing a dream so vivid, so disturbingly consistent, that it's begun to erode the boundaries between what is imagined and what is real. In this dream, I find myself standing at the end of a long hallway in a house I've never seen, yet somehow know intimately. The walls are wet. Not damp, not stained, wet. Pulsating with moisture, as though the house were alive and breathing. Every step I take squelches underfoot, not from carpet or tile, but from something fleshy beneath. And then I see him. At the far end, where the hallway curves into darkness, a man stands motionless. He's impossibly tall, almost scraping the ceiling, his limbs disproportionately long, as if designed by something unfamiliar with human anatomy. He wears a long, ragged coat stitched together from fabric that seems to shimmer between black and dark crimson. His head is slightly tilted, as though studying me, and though I can't see his face in detail, I feel the weight of his gaze like a claw on my chest. Every time I dream this sequence, it ends the same way. The man begins walking toward me, not with footsteps, but with a fluid, unnatural gliding motion. I try to run, but the hallway stretches longer with each step, like I'm moving on a treadmill in reverse. My screams never reach the air. I wake up gasping, drenched in sweat, with my heartbeat pounding in my ears. But here's the real horror, it's not just a dream anymore. Small things began happening. The walls of my actual apartment began to grow damp. I'd wake up with muddy footprints on my carpet, leading to my bed. I live on the 12th floor. I live alone. I thought maybe I was losing my mind. Hallucinations brought on by insomnia, that's what I told myself. But that didn't explain the strange occurrences others started to notice. My coworker told me I looked different, my eyes sunken, skin paler than usual. A barista at my regular coffee shop asked if I had a twin because someone who looked exactly like me had ordered the same drink minutes before I arrived. Even my mother, during a rare phone call, paused and said, "You sound off." But the worst part wasn't how others perceived me, it was how I perceived myself. My memories began to unravel. I'd look at old photos and not recognize the face in them. My own handwriting became foreign. One morning, I woke up to find pages of scribbled notes beside my bed, written in a language I didn't know. Symbols. Circles. Jagged lines that hurt my eyes to stare at. And the drawings. Always the man, his twisted silhouette scrawled dozens of times with growing detail. I tried to burn the pages. They wouldn't catch fire. I soaked them in lighter fluid, doused them in alcohol. Nothing. In desperation, I buried them in the woods an hour from my apartment, hoping that distancing myself physically would help psychologically. That night, I had the worst dream yet. I wasn't in the hallway. I was underground, buried alive, in total darkness. But I wasn't alone. I could feel the man beside me, hear his slow breathing, feel the way the earth trembled as he moved. He said nothing, but I understood, he was no longer just haunting me. He was becoming me. When I woke up, my hands were covered in dirt. My fingernails were cracked and blackened, filled with soil. My boots, muddy. I hadn't gone outside in days. I visited a therapist, hoping to explain it away, to get medication, something. I didn't tell the full truth, just that I was having recurring nightmares and sleepwalking. He recommended a sleep study. I agreed, and they strapped me to machines in a cold lab with white walls and two-way mirrors. That night, they said, I didn't move at all. My body stayed completely still. But in the footage, something terrifying was captured. At 3:17 a.m., my heart rate spiked. The sensors went wild. The camera showed my eyes snapping open all at once, black, fully dilated. And in the reflection of the observation window, there he was. The man. Standing directly behind me. When they rushed in, I was alone. But one of the nurses quit the next day. Said she'd seen something she'll never unsee. The shift became permanent after that night. I stopped seeing the world the way others did. People looked distorted to me, faces blurred, mouths moving in slow, delayed patterns, as if dubbed over badly. Sounds echoed twice. My reflection didn't always match my actions. One night, while brushing my teeth, I noticed my reflection was smiling while I wasn't. It stood motionless, staring back at me, grin wide and sickening, foam dribbling down its chin. I broke the mirror with my elbow, but for a split second after the glass shattered, the smile remained, hovering in midair like an imprint in reality. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. I began seeing him in real places, reflections of store windows, puddles, my phone's black screen. Always closer. Always watching. It didn't matter where I went. I left my apartment. Rented a cabin off-grid. No electricity, no mirrors, no screens. I stayed there for a week, just trees and silence. I thought I was finally free, until the forest itself began to warp. Trees bent unnaturally. Shadows stretched in the wrong direction. The wind whispered my name at night. Then, one night, I heard knocking at the door. 3 knocks. Paused. Then 2. I didn't open it. I stayed curled in bed, heart thudding. But the door creaked open anyway. I covered my face. I prayed. But it didn't help. Nothing ever does now. I started to lose time completely. Hours would vanish from my day. I'd look at the clock at noon and blink, suddenly it was dark. Once, I found myself in a public restroom with no memory of how I got there, hands dripping with water and blood. A stranger's wallet was in my pocket. His ID said Daniel Reese. I've never met a Daniel in my life. I googled the name. He'd gone missing 2 days prior. The photo on the news site was the same man I saw in the mirror that morning. That wasn't possible. But everything was unraveling. My personality, my body, my existence, it was no longer mine. I would hear whispers of my own voice at night, coming from the walls. I started recording myself. What I found broke me. Hours of footage of me standing in the corner, unmoving, humming a tune I don't know. Sometimes talking in a guttural, ancient tongue. Once, I saw myself crawl across the ceiling like an insect. But I never remembered doing any of it. One frame caught the man standing behind me, head tilted, fingers brushing my shoulder. Freeze frame. Zoomed in. He was smiling. Not at me, but through me. As if I was just a shell now. And I believe, maybe I am. I've lost track of the days now. My calendar hasn't moved in weeks, and my clocks spin at inconsistent speeds. My phone battery never dies, even though I haven't charged it in days. I don't remember eating or drinking anymore. Yet I'm not dead. I'm in a state between. A limbo of presence without living. I don't dream anymore because the dream has become waking life. I hear him walking around my apartment at night. I hear my own voice in his mouth. I've seen messages on my walls written in red, sometimes in blood. We are one. The veil is thin. Let him in. I tried to scrub them away. They return stronger, darker. Some appear under my skin when I look in the mirror. I dug into my arm once to remove a word burned beneath the surface. It spelled home. Then came the scratching. Not just in walls, but inside my skull. A pressure. Like fingernails against the inner lining of my brain. I bled from my ears for 3 consecutive nights. The 4th night, my eyes turned black in the mirror and stayed that way until sunrise. I am decaying from the inside, but my outer self is adapting, changing into something not quite human. My fingernails fell off. My teeth shifted. My voice, unrecognizable. I haven't spoken aloud in days, yet my neighbors claim they hear me talking, laughing at night. I live alone. The man is no longer a visitor. He is becoming the host. I decided to end it. I wrote this story as my confession. As a record. As a warning. I've locked myself in the basement of my building, brought chains and padlocks, mirrors covered, lights out. I have a knife. If I feel him inside again, I will end it before he takes complete control. But just now, as I was about to upload this, the power surged. My screen flickered. And for a split second, I saw a file open on its own. It wasn't mine. It was a live camera feed. Of me. But the angle, there's no camera where it was recording from. It was above me, looking down. He is here. And I think he's writing the next words. The lights flickered again. A loud knock echoed 3 times on the basement door. My body is numb. My limbs move without my permission. I'm typing, but not by choice. I feel him in my fingers. The symbols from the notes appear on the walls again, glowing now. He doesn't want me to stop. He doesn't want this to end. This isn't a story. It's an opening. A ritual. My breathing is shallow. I can feel him smiling through me. If you're reading this, it may already be too late. You shouldn't be reading this. If you've read this far, something has already awakened. That's how he travels. Through thought. Through fear. Through recognition. He enters when you begin to believe. He mimics the voices in your head. He waits in your dreams. He waits in your silence. You'll see signs. A figure at the edge of your vision. Flickering lights at 3:17 a.m. A whisper when no one's there. Don't respond. Don't look directly into reflections at night. And whatever you do, never say his name. Because once you do, he becomes real to you too. Have you heard scratching lately? Static on your phone when no one is calling? Have you woken up feeling like someone watched you sleep? These are not coincidences. He is testing you. Marking you. Preparing to enter your space. If you begin dreaming about a hallway, or hearing knocking in sets of 3 and 2, you must leave immediately. Leave the place. Leave your own mind if you have to. Because once he steps through the door of thought, he is not just real, he is permanent. The man from my dream is real. And now, he's in yours.